about the hugs. Loving today.
Thank you.
Right, there you go. That's just, I need a pen. Does anyone need a pen? You're going to need it.
Yes, you definitely need something to write with. I'm going to give you some incredible things that you have probably never heard before. And before I do that, though, just by show of hands, I've got a pretty deep question for you. Do you believe that there is a possibility, just a possibility, that there is something out there right now that you don't know about that could change your whole life? Who thinks there is? Beautiful. I love finding these things. These are the big breakthroughs. These are the things that totally knock it out of the park, that you're totally blindsided by because of this. You don't know what you don't know. Has anybody done Landmark Forum? Landmark Forum's an amazing...
You're talking about 90% of the circle, that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Is that right?
Landmark Forum is an amazing program. I highly recommend it. Transformed my life. And they basically give you some of these big breakthroughs, these things you've never heard of before. And when I went, I was quite cocky because I was already speaking, and I went with my girlfriend. Can we give a round of applause to my beautiful girlfriend, Mia? I went with my girlfriend. I was quite cocky because I'd been to a lot of personal development stuff, and I was like, what am I going to learn? It's going to be basic. I cried for like 3 whole days. Because what they basically shared is that if you have all the knowledge in the world, okay, if that summarizes all the knowledge in the world, then what you know is this little piece here. This is what you know. Okay, so I know I can speak English. I know I can do handstands. I will after when I'm not mic'd up. And they shared this part. This is what you don't know, but you know that you don't know it. So I know that I don't know how to speak Russian. I know that I don't know how to fly a helicopter. But you can go and learn those things, right? Because they're in your awareness already. So you could choose to go and do a course to learn those things if you wanted to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Beautiful. So this is where the magic happens. This other part, which are the things that you don't know, you don't know. And this is what I want to share with you today. 3 things that even after almost 10 years as a sales coach, working with huge companies, these 3 things hit me out of left field, and I had no idea they even existed. Does anybody want to know what they are? Yeah. Yeah, good. Beautiful. So, before I tell you these things, I just need to say something. What I'm going to share with you now are things I know to be true at this exact moment in time. Truth doesn't actually exist, though. There's no such thing as an absolute truth. But these things are true for me right now. So I'm going to invite you, don't believe anything that I say. Question everything. And don't just do this now with my talk, do this your whole life. Question everything. And if it feels true for you, great, keep it. And if it doesn't, then maybe it's just not for you right now. But don't blindly believe anything that I say. That kind of blind faith, blind trust, that causes a lot of problems, especially with our conditioning. When we grow up, we believe what our parents tell us, right? Like Santa Claus. Who believed in Santa Claus? Tooth fairy. Right? These blatant lies that we're told, but that we believe to be true. And why do? They do it because they love us and they want to make it fun for us. They don't do it because they're nasty parents, right? They think they're doing something good. But these 3 things I'm going to share with you now are 3 things that your parents probably told you because they love you, and your school probably told you because they love you. But maybe they just didn't quite know what they didn't know. So, Who am I? Why am I here? And how can I share this stuff with you? Anybody like to know? Anyone interested? Beautiful. So this is me. I travel all around the world running workshops. I have my own TV show, which I'm going to share a little bit with you about as well. And I'm what I call a spiritual mentor. Who believes in spirituality? Great, loads of crazy people. Yes. Yes. That means we can go super deep. I love it. Sometimes no one does, and then we have to have a different conversation. When I talk about spirituality, I am fully crazy. I am absolutely insane. If I went to a therapist, I would definitely get sectioned. But I am happier than I've ever been, so let me have my delusions. I'm also really into science. I love physics, I love quantum mechanics, and everything I'm going to explain to you today, you can take it spiritually or you can take it scientifically. For me, they're the same thing. I'm the founder of the Standout Speakers Academy. And what does that mean? That means I teach people how to get rock star confidence on stage. Yeah, like Will. Will's an awesome speaker, isn't he? Can we give Will a round of applause, please? Really good, and I love what you guys are doing with the 10 stuff. Chelsea, amazing speaker. Give Chelsea a round of applause, please. And Mark, he was pretty good. Who would like to become a speaker? Who would like to travel around the world running workshops? Okay, a few of you. Cool. Come and see me later. We can have a chat, and I'll tell you how you can do all this stuff too. My TV show is super cool. Has anyone been on TV already? Rich, you should put your hand up. Can we give Rich a round of applause as well? Winning Britain's Got Talent. That is cool. First ever magician to win Britain's Got Talent. That is pretty cool. And I loved what he shared about the visualization. Now, who thinks it was a coincidence that that song came on that he'd been visualizing? Who thinks it was a coincidence? Who thinks that was a synchronicity and that's the universe having a laugh? Yeah, me too. Me too. The universe has a hysterical sense of humor. Sometimes it's absolutely brutal. But it does these cheeky little signs to us just to let us know that we're supported. And we have to become aware of them. So my TV show is really cool. If anyone would like to be on TV, who would like to be on TV someday? Okay, great. Awesome. It's a great way to get your message out to millions of people. I do workshops. I travel all around the world teaching people how to raise their hands. This is in Vietnam, I got them to raise their hands. This is in Malaysia, I get people to raise their hands. Why do you think I do that? Anybody, why do you think I do that? Participation, yes! Give Kulvinder a round of applause, please. Beautiful. Participation. A couple of reasons why. Firstly, I want you to stay awake, okay? It's very hard to be asleep while you're clapping and raising your hands. Second, though, it's something called accelerated learning. Who does NLP? NLP people, great. So I was a sales coach for 5 years for a big corporate company. So I know all these little tricks to help you remember things. So I'm going to try and use these as we go through, and it'll just sink into your brain in a whole deeper way. If you just listen, you retain a very small amount of information. If you write, you retain a lot more. And if you participate, even more. So do make notes and do participate. Is that okay?
Yes.
Beautiful. And it's more fun for me. I like to do some interesting things too. So some of our events, we help people overcome their fear of snakes. So you want an overcoming fear session, right? Yeah. Scared of snakes? No. Okay, snakes is an easy one. I can see some of you are like, oh, get it off the screen, get it off the screen. Making people walk on broken glass. Who would like to walk on broken glass? Anybody? Crazy people. Yeah. Yeah, really fun. So these things all make you stand out. That's what my whole message is about. My TV show, my speaking academy, it's about how can you stand out, because you all have something unique. You all have something different. And you just have to show it to the world. But you have to find out what it is first. I also love to get naked. So that's me. at my retreat that I ran with some of my business partners just a couple of weeks ago. It's called Dive Deep into Pleasure and Intimacy, where we teach people how to have amazing, conscious sex. Who likes sex? Who doesn't want to own up to it? That's a secret. Most people I meet love sex, and if they don't, then they definitely need to come and learn how to. I love yoga, so that's me doing a handstand in New York. That was a comedy gig that I did, which was really, really cool and very X-rated, definitely 18 plus. Kenya went out to an orphanage there, 300 kids, teaching them public speaking. Who thinks that's pretty cool? Yeah. Anybody like to do something like that? Yeah. Great. It's really nice because they never get taught public speaking. Most of them think that they can become maybe a doctor if they work really hard, or a pilot. But none of them have ever thought about starting a YouTube channel or being a speaker, sharing their experiences. So I loved sharing that with them. Now, I'm sharing all of this with you just so you can understand that I've had a wide variety of life experiences. Chelsea mentioned a little bit about my start, which was not so good. My mum and dad were gangsters in a motorcycle gang. Has anyone seen Sons of Anarchy? TV show? Yeah, like that. So very interesting upbringing. So do you think there is a possibility that doing all of this stuff, there's something I might have picked up that could maybe help you in your life right now? Who thinks there is? Okay, beautiful. Should we get started? The first thing that you probably don't know that can change your life forever if you understand it is this. Suspense, right? Time, as you know it, does not exist. Time is a lie that your parents, your school, your government, everyone taught you that is socially accepted. Confused faces, that's good. That means this is something that you didn't know before. So time, I'm talking about years, months, days, hours, seconds, minutes. Doesn't even make any sense. Like mathematically, it doesn't make any sense. The different months have different days in them. Sometimes we have to move the clocks back, clocks forward. Every 4 years we get an extra day for some reason. It doesn't make any sense. Different civilizations had different ways of measuring time. This is just a way that we created, that we've all agreed on. Now I'm going to explain for you why this is important. Who likes animals? Beautiful. I love watching animals. So one day I was watching this bird in my garden, and he was just jumping around. I had a little peck at the floor. He's just jumping around. And it just hit me. That bird has no idea what a clock is. No idea what a clock is. It's never thought, oh crap, I'm late. What does it do? It just jumps around from moment to moment to moment. Goes, oh, I'm hungry now, I should get some food. Oh, I'm tired now, I should sleep. It lives in the moment. Time isn't linear. It doesn't go from like the Big Bang all the way through to now. It doesn't work like that. There's just one moment, this moment right now. Everybody take a deep breath in and out. There's just this one moment. Life is a series of moments. And how long is a moment? A second? No, that doesn't make any sense. Who's ever experienced having a moment that lasted ages? Yeah, it's usually when something bad's happening, right? You see it in slow motion, you're like, no! The moment lasts for ages. Who's ever had it where you're traveling somewhere and you get there and you go, whoa, how did he even get here? The moments are like, they don't exist. So we just have this one present moment. And something amazing can happen when you live in the present moment. Would you like to learn how to get present? Who would like to learn that? Beautiful, okay. Simplest and easiest way to get present is this. Everybody take a deep breath in. And out. Something happened there that some of you got and some of you missed. Something magical happens when you take a breath like that. So I'm going to ask you to take another breath, and this time see what happens at the end of the out breath. Okay, are you ready? Everybody take a deep breath in. And out. What happened? Anybody? Stillness. Beautiful. Yes?
Like a gap in your breathing as well.
Yes, there is.
It's like you're permanent in time then.
Yep, there definitely is. Breath.
Release.
A release. Beautiful.
Awareness of the way your body moves when you're taking a breath.
Awareness. Yeah, beautiful. A breath is like a wave. There's a still point in the middle. This is how you get present. So, if during my talk you notice your mind wandering, that's okay. That's what the mind does. If you want to bring yourself back into the present moment, just take a deep breath in and out. So who wants to know the good news about knowing that time doesn't exist? Say yes?
Yes.
Beautiful. The fact that time doesn't exist is your key to freedom. Your key to freedom. If you are in the now, if you are in this present moment, the past doesn't exist. It's just a story. Some people tell themselves a really nice story and they're really positive. Most people tell themselves a negative story. And both of those are okay. It's about being aware of it. And you can change the story because you're the storyteller. Isn't that pretty cool? I told you this was going to be deep, right? So, if we're in this present moment, who thinks they're present right now? Okay, beautiful. The rest of you, take a breath. Always keep breathing, okay? Breathing is important. So if we're here in the present moment, the past is just a story. The future is just a story too. It hasn't happened yet. But how many people, and I'm going to ask you to be honest, because when I asked who liked sex, some of you didn't put your hands up. Whoever has worried about the future, something that hasn't happened yet? Okay, amazing. Look around, everyone. So it's not just you. We're all crazy. But why do we do it? It's because we're not present. Now, there is absolutely a time and a place for setting goals, for visualizing, for doing all of that amazing stuff. The issue comes when you start to then overanalyze, overthink, repeat it, get in a loop, start beating yourself up about it, stressing about it, and you can tell, because just like Will said, you can tell by how you feel. If you feel crap, it's because you're thinking about something that's in the past or the future. You're worrying about something. You're out of alignment with something. Because if you're in this present moment and you're in alignment, you'll feel great. Now, it's okay to feel bad too. That's something my family never told me. Did you know that? It's okay not to feel great 100% of the time because we're humans and we have this beautiful wave that we go through. And waves, you have the high and you have the low. So it's okay to feel the low. So that's the first thing. Was that pretty deep?
Yes.
Are we ready for number 2?
Yes.
Can we handle it?
Yes.
So that's the first thing. Time doesn't exist. Just this one moment. The second thing that you probably don't know that can change your life forever if you implement this. I'm a big tease, aren't I? Is this. And you definitely want to write this one down. The second thing you probably don't know that can change your life forever when you understand it. And some of you will get this on one level and some of you will get this on another level, and you might hear it again in 6 months' time or a year's time and it will mean something completely different. Has anyone had that experience before? Yeah. So here's the second thing. Life is meaningless. Meaningless.
Whatever meaning we assign to it.
Yes! Beautiful. Life is meaningless. Who thinks that's depressing? Who thinks that's exciting? Great! Give the person next to you a high five and say, that's exciting. Why is it exciting?
Because it doesn't matter.
Life is inherently meaningless. What I mean by that is nothing actually has a meaning until you give it one. These words aren't actually words. They're just squiggly lines. But because you understand English, you give them a meaning. But if someone came in here who only spoke Swahili, what would that mean to them? Absolutely nothing.
Unless they could read English.
They only know Swahili. It would mean absolutely nothing. Try this one on. Right now, you think that I am a person called Luke that is speaking to you and giving a lecture, giving a presentation. Right? And that's because that's what you're making it mean. But what is happening right now, like what is actually physically happening, is there is a blob of colour making some sounds. And because you know what this blob of colour looks like a person, you're making it mean that it's me. But if you all close your eyes for me. If none of you could see, right now, this could be a recording. And you wouldn't know the difference. It's only because you have eyes and you can see and you can make meanings that you give it that meaning that I'm here. You can open your eyes again. And these sounds that I'm making, you understand them, hopefully. I have a bit of a northern accent, not too strong. And you make them mean whatever you want. Now think about this. Every word that anyone has ever said to you is just a sound. It's just a sound. Even when they've called you something really horrible. Has anyone got any words they don't like? Yes. Shut. There's a great word on this book here. It's called burn the bullshit. If someone says you are shit, I just need to be honest with you. I think you are shit. You'd probably get offended, right? Most people would. But it's just a sound. Is shit actually an offensive sound? This guy who only knows Swahili, if I say, hey, you are shit, he'll probably go, thanks. Yeah, I am. Because it doesn't mean anything to him. And our brains are amazing. The NLP people, you know this. We anchor these words with so much emotion. When someone calls you shit, it's not that one time. You think back to every bad thing every person's ever said to you, and it all collects in this instant. It's instant, isn't it? And they're trying to hurt me. But if someone comes to me and says, I think you're really shit, and they might say it with more venom than that. I don't have a lot of venom. I can make it mean whatever I want. So I could make it mean that they don't like me, and that I'm a bad person, and that there's something wrong with me. Or I could make it mean that they've had a bad day, and it's nothing actually about me. Can you see how this works? I believe that when you're in the present moment, things just happen. Things are just happening. And sometimes when I speak, I don't even know where the words are coming from. Who knows where the words are coming from? Who knows? It's just happening right now. Every single thing that has ever happened to you in your life had no meaning, but you probably gave it some. So we're going to do something quite deep now. I want you to think about some event that happened in your life. Don't pick like the worst event that's ever happened, all right? We don't want to go that deep in this seminar. I've only got a short time with you. We can definitely do that at my retreats or workshops or whatever. But pick something that maybe just didn't make you feel so great. Can everyone think of one thing that's ever happened in their life that didn't make them feel so great? Okay, beautiful. I want you to write down what that thing is from the perspective of your current story about it. So write down what that thing is with your current story. So I was walking down the street, this guy came up to me, he said I was shit. I got really upset, I started to cry. I went home and I told my mum, and she said, yeah, you are shit. My mum loves me. I love you, mum, if you're watching this. So write down something that happened that maybe didn't make you feel so great. And I'll just give you 30 seconds to write that down. Usually people are pretty fast at remembering stuff they don't like. They've written down. Yep. Beautiful. Now, I want you to write down from a totally neutral perspective of blob of colour making sounds, squiggles on a board. I want you to write down what actually happened. Does everyone understand? Anybody not clear? Okay, amazing. So just take a minute, write down what actually happened. No emotion in it, not making it mean anything. Just from a purely scientific, this is what happened point of view. Let's give you 30 more seconds. I'm very lucky, I class myself as lucky, that I've always been quite balanced and analytical, and I don't get too emotional for like long periods of time. Some people are like massive emotions, like huge emotions, big highs, really low lows. This huge wave. I've always been pretty balanced. I do get really happy and I do get really sad, but it doesn't last that long. I always come back to this equilibrium, and I can just see things as they happen. And this is just something that comes with practice. Does anybody do meditation? Beautiful. With meditation, you just become more and more aware of things happening. You're meditating in a park, a bird is chirping because that's what you make it mean, but really there's a sound. A thought comes, you can make it mean something, but it's just a thought, you can just let it pass like a cloud. So now you've written down what actually happened. The final part of this exercise. I want you to write down, what did you make that thing mean? What meaning did you ascribe to that event? So that blob of colour that made sounds at you might have been your kid, might have been your partner, might have been a teacher. Could have been a little blob of colour or a big one. Might have been really loud sounds, or maybe they gave you the silent treatment. No sounds can hurt too. We can make no sounds mean something, can't we? Aren't we interesting people? Beautifully messed up. Perfectly imperfect. So what did you make it mean? And now I'm just going to ask if there's any brave volunteer. You don't have to come up, don't worry. Is there anyone who would be brave enough to share their story, then what actually happened, and then what they made it mean? Anybody? Yes, amazing. Give her a big round of applause. Beautiful. So what was the story? Tell us, we all love a story. Who likes a story?
Yeah.
Come on, beautiful. Tell us a nice story.
When I was at school, I was bullied, but it made me the person I am today. That's what I wrote down.
Okay, beautiful. So then what actually happened?
Other people spoke to me. That's it.
And what did you make it mean?
That it was a bad thing. And what they were saying to me was really hurtful, but actually, now I know it's their stuff.
Mm.
It's nothing to do with me in the end.
So how do you feel knowing that now?
I still feel good that I went through it. I'm still glad that I went through it because it made me the person I am now. Knowing the best of me now. But it kind of wish I'd told myself that back then, that it was their stuff. Because that's one of the things I always use now. And everyone comes at me with anything, I always know that I'm in a good place and it's their stuff. So I don't get hurt by people anymore. And that was my whole life, my whole childhood, getting hurt by bullies. And actually, if I just stepped away and knew that, I would have been happy.
Beautiful. Give her a big round of applause, please. I want you to catch yourselves. Maybe on the break after we've finished. See if you start telling people stories. If they're positive stories that make you feel great, amazing, keep telling them. If maybe after you've told the story you don't feel so great, maybe change the story. Or don't. It's your life, and some people get things really quick. The universe just has to tell them once. They just have to get that one sign. They just have to feel bad that one time and they go, oh, I felt bad, I won't do that again. Other people, it takes a little longer. Maybe it takes them a year, maybe 10. Maybe a day, maybe a week. But the more aware we become of our stories and breaking it down to what actually happened, for me, the faster we can get out of those feelings that we don't like. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Who's really confused? Beautiful. Good. So, for those of you who are really confused, I am going to post this recording on my YouTube channel so you can watch it again. And it will make more sense the next time. and then watch it again and again and again. With me, I like to listen to books. Sometimes I like to listen to them again and again and again. The same lectures, because it sinks in a whole different way. So don't worry if it's not making total sense right now. Who would like to be more happy? Beautiful. I'm going to offer you this, and you can take it or not. But if you would like to be more happy, I'm going to give you a mantra. A mantra is just something you repeat. It's different to an affirmation. Affirmations are great, sometimes, if you actually believe what you're saying. Because the universe, the law of attraction, doesn't actually know what you're saying. Because it doesn't understand English. Because it's a vibration. It just knows what you're feeling when you say the things. So for me, if you can really imagine and visualize, like Rich was talking about, if you can imagine and visualize that thing actually being true, say the affirmation all day. But if when you say the affirmation, what you're really feeling is, no, I'm not that thing, for me, that doesn't feel good. And sometimes we can trick ourselves on a conscious level, but subconsciously, it's a bit different. So, my mantra. When you wake up in the morning, this is a beautiful intention to set from the day. So you want to write this down. Today, the most important thing for me is to be happy. Today, the most important thing for me is to be happy. Something magic happens when that is your whole focus. Because when your kid starts screaming and annoying you, or your partner forgets to take out the bins, or whatever it is that causes 90% of divorces, you never did the washing up. Like, it's not that. That's not why they're angry with you guys. But whenever something happens, you just bring yourself back to that mantra. Today, the most important thing for me is to be happy. You can't have an argument with your neighbor about something petty when your intention for the day is to be happy. Does that make sense? So that's always my intention. And anything that doesn't make me happy doesn't stay in my life for very long. Sometimes I go deep into the whatever shows up. If I feel really sad, I want to go deep into it. I want to observe it. Like, what happened? Why am I feeling this? What's the lesson? But then I want to get back to happy again pretty quick. Not after a week or a month or a year. I want to get there as quick as possible. So just remember, what actually happened and what did you make it mean? And it'll change your whole life. Now, before I give you the third thing, I need everybody to stand up. Energy is so important when you're learning, when you're teaching, and when you give really deep content, sometimes people get a bit in their heads. So, what I'm going to ask you to do now is I want you to go and hug 3 people. Wait, calm down. I want you to hug them the right way. Mia, can you come here for me, please? So, some people, when they hug, they do this. There's no connection there. That's weak. Our hearts are very powerful electromagnets. And when you touch your heart to someone else's heart, it creates this connection on a very physics, scientific level. So I like to come in like an airplane. So if you see me doing this, that's why. So I like to come in like an airplane and hug heart to heart. No flappy hands. Thank you. Can we give Mia another round of applause? Flappy hands is you trying to avoid intimacy. That's what it is. Because it's a very intimate thing, actually feeling someone.
You could get done for abuse doing that.
It's a very, very intimate thing. So, everybody, I want you to go and hug 3 people and begin. We're going to go really deep now.
I'm glad I saw your post.
Hey, Kerry, thank you so much for sharing.
I'll talk to you after anyway.
This
Bring it
way.
No, you're spot on. I love it. Thank you. We're about to go really deep now. Okay, I said 3 hugs, you hippies. Sit down. Sit down. What happened there? I said 3 hugs. Do you think they're free? Do you think they don't run out? How do we feel now? Energy's like, whew, right? Super quick, isn't it, giving someone a hug? So,
Yeah, but you get knocked up if you do it on the bus.
maybe. I've got a lot of friends who go out and give free hugs in public. Have a sign. One of my friends, Aaron, amazing guy. His video on YouTube for free hugs just got 1 million views. Just hit 1 million views. He just had a sign and he just hugged strangers. And 1 million people wanted to see that. That's inspirational. That is one of the most beautiful things I can possibly think of. That people just want to watch a video of other people hugging and connecting. Who's ready to go deep? Okay. So we've done kindergarten now. So the third thing and last thing I'm going to share with you that you don't know, but if you implement this thing can totally transform your life, is this. Energy is everything. Energy is everything, and everything is energy. Energy is everything, and everything is energy. What do I mean? Right now, you think I'm a human, or maybe a blob. You think I'm a human. You think I'm solid. And on one level I am, but really I'm not. If you zoom in on me with a microscope, I'm actually made of these teeny tiny particles. Can you remember what they're called from science? Atoms. Yes, give a big round of applause. Beautiful. We are made of atoms. Now, if you remember, atoms are made from some neutrons, some protons, and electrons. They have the core and the electrons around them. Did you know that atoms are actually 99.99999% empty space? Atoms are made of 99.999% empty space. Right now, your entire body mass, if we took all of the empty space out of your body, your entire mass would be smaller than a single speck of dust. Just think about that one. What is that 99.99999%? What is that holds us together? Energy, yes! Give Ben a big round of applause, please. Energy. That's what we're made of. Pure energy. When I look at you, I just see a beautiful blob of energy. How nice is that? You can go home to your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife. You are a beautiful blob of energy. What do you think they would make that mean?
If you're single, look in the mirror and tell yourself you are beautiful.
I'm a blob of what? So energy is everything and everything is energy. Now, why is this important? I'm going to go science geek on you now, okay? I'm going to make it as simple as it possibly can. They have proved scientifically, now this isn't in any of your science textbooks at school because they were made a long time ago, right? In the 1990s, they proved scientifically that when a particle is connected, it always has an energetic connection with every other part of the particle. What they did is they took a single photon of light. A photon is a particle of energy, and they split it in two. And they took it through these fiber optic cables 7 miles away from each other, either side. So it's 14 miles away. So one particle, they split it into two, took it 14 miles away from each other. Does everyone get that? They studied and watched one of the particles and the other one, 14 miles away. When they did something to this one half of the particle, the other half of the particle moved. So if they started spinning this one this way, that one span that way. Instantly. Or at least it seems instant because they measured it with an atomic clock and it was instant. China did this recently from their space station. They had one half of the particle in the space station, they sent the other half down to China, over 2,000 kilometers away. They did something to that half of the particle in space. The half on Earth reacted. Now, what does this mean? Who believes in the Big Bang? That once everything was just combined into one tiny small thing? Okay, cool. Does anyone believe in God, that God created everything? Beautiful, amazing. Either way, it's exactly the same. If you believe both, even better. Big Bang, the idea is at one time, every single thing in the whole planet was squeezed into the size of something smaller than a single pea. Remember, you're just a tiny speck of dust, right? The whole universe was a pea. And then, boom, exploded. That means at one point, everything was connected. And then, boom. So by this experiment, that means that right now, every atom in your body, and your body, and your body, and your body, and your body, is connected to every single other atom in the entire universe energetically. They call this quantum entanglement, for those of you who are geeks. Who's a geek? Beautiful, okay. Quantum entanglement. Now, why is this important? This is important because right now, you think you're separate from me, but you're not. Whether you believe it's God, that everything was God, and that God creates everything, that means we're all connected to God. It's exactly the same. There's no difference. We're all connected energetically. And that's why, have you ever had that thing where you think of someone and then they call you? Who's had that? How does that work? Because you are connected to every single person in this room, in Australia, aliens, if you believe in them, whatever you believe in, you are connected to it all. Isn't that pretty magic? So look at the person next to you. And then look at the person on the other side. Look them right in the eyes. Even just knowing that, do you feel a bit of a deeper connection with everyone in this room? When you do something to someone else, you're doing it to yourself. When you hurt someone else, what you do to their particles, you do it to your particles too. You can't call someone shit without actually calling yourself shit too. And how do you feel? You don't feel good when you hurt people, right? Most people. You don't feel good when you hurt people. When we come from this place of connectedness, this place of togetherness, so many things are possible. I want to end on this. The Big Bang explodes. Creates galaxies, planets, stars, suns, all these incredible things. And then they explode. Stars die after billions of years. They explode. And they create metals, like the iron in your blood. Was once a star that exploded. Everything you're made of was once a star that exploded. You are literally made of stardust. How cool is that? So there are three things that you probably didn't know. That if you take them and use them, they can have massive impact on your life. Think of body, or both at the same time. Any right now is a balance in the energy. We've got this session. A fear is just an imbalance in energies. It's just something trapped inside your energy from maybe when you were a kid or whatever. It's just trapped there, and we just release it. And then magic happens, and you can step more into who you really are, which is stardust. So, for those of you who would like to know more, connect with me. Yeah. I'm on all social medias. Just type in Luke Scott Speaker or Luke Scott Mentor or something like that into Google. I'll come up. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. I'm going to post this video on my YouTube so you can watch it again if you want. So that's Luke Scott Official YouTube channel. My mission, or part of my mission, is to get every single person connected with themselves and then connected with the universe. Because when you are really connected with your true self, like Will said, when you're in alignment, things just flow. If things aren't flowing right now, it's just some imbalance in the energies. And I would love to help you balance those. We're going to hand out some forms later that you can fill in the details if you'd like to know more details about how we can do that. It's super cool and really weird. Who thinks that was weird, what I just did there, by the way? Okay. Didn't go deep enough.
It's amazing.
And my website is lukescottofficial.com. Please do check me out. All my products, services, everything is on there. If you'd like to come to my speaking workshop, my next workshop is on the 24th of July. It's a Tuesday evening. It's in London, so you have a bit of a journey, but I came all the way here for you, so it's worth it. And that's it. Thank you all so much.
Very conscious that I didn't have a bloody hand. Oh, that was amazing.